Hi everyone, I'm Adam Brown and this is Shell Point Today for Thursday, February 6th. On today's show, we see some artistic interpretations of historic Fort Myers landmarks. We'll learn how medical science can now perform a heart valve replacement without open heart surgery. And we'll look through our telescopes to do some stargazing in the middle of the day. Learn how coming up. But first, two big Academy events happening today. At 10 a.m., Shakespeare expert Ray Boyce is focusing on Shakespeare's tragedies. This first of a four-part series takes place at 10 a.m. in the Grand Cypress Room. And this afternoon, Jerry Langberg shows some amazing photographs from his travels to the South American region of Patagonia. This presentation begins at 2 p.m. in the Grand Cypress Room. To sign up for either event, call the Island Service Desk at 454-2282 or the Woodlands Service Desk at 454-2054. You know, our Academy instructors represent an amazing variety of experience, interests, and passions. We at Shell Point want to recognize that passion, not just by promoting your classes, but also by documenting the many hours you put into preparing and teaching your classes. This is a very important volunteer function, and part of Shell Point's official bookkeeping process includes compiling all the volunteer hours our residents donate year by year. Now, if you've taught or assisted an Academy class in 2013, make sure you compile the number of hours you spent and submit it to Rose Donnelly through campus mail. Or you can call Rose at 454-2272 and let her know. Thanks to all of our Academy instructors for their hard work. Here's a perfect example. Doug Heatherly of Nautilus is a big astronomy fan, but he recognizes that not everyone wants to sit in an open field on a cold and dark night. That's why he's prepared a demonstration of solar astronomy, special equipment that allows you to observe the sun during the day. Learn more about solar astronomy at a class happening tomorrow at 2 p.m. in the Grand Cypress Room. Here's a preview.
Hello everyone, I'm Teri Kollath and I'm here today with Doug Heatherly of Nautilus, and we're talking about a class he's going to present in the Academy, Solar Astronomy. Thanks for joining me, Doug.
Certainly.
I'm so excited that we can have an astronomy class in the Academy, only because we have an amateur astronomer in our community.
Yes. And I'm happy to be here.
What makes you an amateur astronomer? How long have you been interested?
Oh, most of my life. I actually got interested in astronomy when I was in high school. And probably is what directed my college education, which was in physics. And did some research in astronomy in college. So didn't do it as a profession, did it as an amateur, and I've enjoyed it most all my life.
So what does an amateur astronomer do? Did you have a telescope and keep reading?
Yes, mostly what it is. It's like any hobby. You have a telescope, and it's the kind of thing you read and you stay. And amateur astronomers actually do some real science in many cases. They're the ones that often find new exploding stars, or they'll find asteroids, or those kinds of things. So.
It is so fascinating. We can all remember lying on our backs in the dark as children and looking up. And, you know, do we lose that magic, or do we discover it again when we get back into astronomy?
I think with the light pollution we have today, we've pretty much lost a lot of the magic. A lot of the young folks have never, ever seen the Milky Way. And it just... You know, it's just too bright outside at night, and with all the city lights, and people don't see it.
Can you through a telescope?
Oh yes, oh yes, absolutely.
So, what's your favorite part of the sky?
Probably, I actually enjoyed the solar astronomy as much as anything. Actually, I got involved with that in college, and did some research between optical and radio astronomy on solar work at that time, and just never carried it forward. So it's always been something that's interesting, and I think the part that really made it interesting to me was it was daytime job versus nighttime job.
That's very nice. Well, I can tell from your course description that we're going to look at solar maximum, and you've shared with me there's a lot going on out there now.
Yes, the sun actually goes through cycles, and there's an 11-year cycle and then a 22-year cycle, and maybe even some longer ones. We just don't have the records that go back far enough to tell us. But the sun is never the same. It's always changing, and we know a lot more in the last 20 years because we've had some satellites up, but we still don't know very much.
Fascinating. And we all know you're never to look at the sun.
That's absolutely right.
But we're going to do it in your class.
We're going to do it with professional grade equipment, and I'm actually going to borrow one telescope from the local amateur astronomer group that is special for this one, and then I have a couple that I can use. So
let's tell everybody what to expect, because this is pretty exciting. First, we're going to assemble in the Grand Cypress Room.
Yes.
And you're going to talk with us about the sun.
Yes, we'll get some background on solar astronomy, some of the history, some of the things that are going on, some of the things we read news clips about, but what actually is happening. And the sun has, of course, enormous impact on our lives. That we exist because of the sun and what it provides to us. But it has also got some things we need to pay attention to in our electronic age. And so that's why it's the issue around power grids and electronic equipment.
Interesting. So after the lecture, we're going to all walk outside on the deck, outside the Grand Cypress Room, and use your equipment and your borrowed equipment and look at the sun.
That's absolutely right.
Fun.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Yes. We're delighted. Thank you for doing this for us.
Yes.
All right. I hope that you join Doug and everyone else who has signed up for this class, Solar Astronomy, Friday, 2 o'clock, and we have ordered a beautiful day.
So, did you enjoy the gala last week? It was quite the happening, including a live performance from an amazing a cappella group, the Voices of Lee. The event also featured a fascinating video documentary featuring the history of Fort Myers, as it parallels this history of Shell Point. If you'd like a copy of this video, we're offering them for just $10. We also have available Peter Dice's most recent Academy presentation on the history of Shell Point, where he shows historical photographs and then tells the stories behind them. This DVD is also available for $10 from Shell Point TV. To buy one or both of these DVDs, contact Jared Pike at 489-8431 or email him at jaredpike@shellpoint.org. Many of these Fort Myers landmarks can be quite inspiring, and they've certainly inspired our Shell Point artists. This month, their gallery wall in the art studio consists of paintings of famous scenes from around Fort Myers. Here's a sample of what our artists have come up with. To see these works up close, visit the art studio in the Island Tunnel, or find an art class in the weekly reminder and give it a try yourself. By the way, if you're interested in color, then don't miss tomorrow's show when we talk to interior design expert Joanna Koch. She's coming to Shell Point next week to present 2 Academy classes, one on understanding color and one on using color to refresh your living space. We'll get a full preview of Joanna's classes on tomorrow's show. Today, we have one more tidbit, and it comes from the medical field. For many, open heart surgery is a necessity to repair heart valves that have been torn or worn out. But now, there's an alternative, and you can learn about this heart procedure, appropriately enough, on Valentine's Day. Dr. Lee Lucas will discuss transcatheter aortic valve replacement, or T.A.V.R., on February 14th at 1 p.m. in the Grand Cypress Room. Here's a preview.
Thank you for joining the Health Connection Spot. I'm Mary Franklin, here today with Dr. Lucas from Lee Memorial Health Systems. She will be coming out doing a presentation on, appropriately, Valentine's Day, Friday, February 14th at 1 p.m. in the Grand Cypress Room. In your booklet, it's T.A.V.R. Do you know what that stands for? Transcatheter aortic valve replacement. Say that 3 times fast. But let's find out what T.A.V.R. is all about and a little bit more about Dr. Lucas. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Mary. Thanks for having me.
You have a wonderful job with Lee Memorial. Tell me a little bit about it.
I really do. I have one of the best jobs there. I'm the coordinator for the Structural Heart Program, which encompasses quite a bit of our cardiac surgery program, but especially the T.A.V.R., the T.A.V.R. program, which stands for the Transcatheter Aortic Valve Replacement. And this program is a new program. We were the first in the state of Florida, outside the clinical trials, to be able to have this new technology. And it's for patients who have severe aortic stenosis, who really don't qualify for open heart surgery. And this is kind of their last hope that we can offer them.
Okay. Now, how do you know when someone needs this surgery?
Aortic stenosis is a narrowing of the aortic valve. And the aortic valve is one of the valves in your heart, and it separates the pumping chamber of your heart from the rest of your body. So when this valve calcifies, usually just with the natural aging process, then oxygenated blood doesn't really get to the rest of your body. And so that valve doesn't open and close very well. Well, you can imagine the rest of your body needs this blood. So you start becoming symptomatic with things like shortness of breath, fatigue. Sometimes you start getting very lightheaded because, of course, that blood is just not going where it needs to go. And then also, at the towards the end, you start having chest pain or even chest pressure. Have a patient say, "Well, I don't really have chest pain, but sometimes I get this tightness." Well, that all factors into it. And so we know aortic stenosis is a very, very life-threatening disease, and it also affects your quality of life, obviously.
And we were talking earlier, sometimes it's easy to mask those symptoms because if you know what, I'm not going to go for a walk today, you're not feeling that shortness of breath. You can mask that and think, I'm fine.
Exactly. We see patients who have been telling their doctors for years, "Oh no, I don't really have any symptoms," because the doctor will ask, "Well, are you short of breath?" "No, I'm not short of breath." Well, what we find is that sometimes we start limiting our lifestyle so that we don't have those symptoms. And what we then find is if they had that active lifestyle again, then they would be symptomatic. And what we want to do is increase patients' quality of life. We don't have a crystal ball. We're not sure about the quantity, but we definitely want to increase their quality.
And that's very important, very important. Now, this is an amazing piece of technology. It's a wonderful. And you're going to bring pictures and so forth of the machine?
I will. I will bring some pictures of the machine. I will bring pictures of all the catheters that we use, and I'll even bring one of the valves that we have that we put in. So it looks like a stent with just the little flaps on there, and patients are amazed that this is it, and we can replace your heart valve in about an hour.
Now, what I've seen so far online and so forth, I would like all of those people who are just technology driven and excited about new development in the medical field to come out and hear your talk as well. Even if they're thinking, my heart is totally fine, you will be amazed at what is happening right here in our town.
Absolutely. And aortic stenosis affects so many people that I guarantee you know someone who has this problem. And what we're seeing now is the technology has kind of been a springboard for other new technologies, not only with this type of thing with the transcatheter abilities, but also even just for Lee Memorial. So we're starting to have some more clinical trials for cardiac research, and so this has really put our community on the map for being at the cutting edge of medical technology and what we can offer patients in our community.
Well, that's great. Well, I think we all participated in the American Heart Association walk just back in December, and this is one of those things that, you know, the American Heart pushes. So we appreciate that it's right here affecting our community, and we're looking forward to your talk.
I'm looking forward to being here. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you. If you would like to sign up for this presentation, you can do so at either service desk. And don't forget, it's on Valentine's Day. What a better treat you can give your heart that day is to come to this presentation. Again, it will be at 1 o'clock in the Grand Cypress Room. We hope to see you there. I'm Mary Franklin, along with Dr. Lucas. Make it a happy and healthy day.
It's time now to go over all of today's happenings from Resort Services. Then stay tuned for your Academy news, menus, and Village Church connections.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the happening segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Bev Chandley. This is Leslie Brand, and we're going to tell you what's going on here at Shell Point today. We're going to start out at 7:15 with an early Health Connections class, Bend, Breathe, and Balance. That'll be in the Health Club. 8 o'clock, the Men's Golf Association will be down at the Shell Point Golf Club. Also at 8 o'clock, we have a round-robin tennis going on down at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. The current events group will be in the game room of the Woodlands at 9:30. Also at 9:30, we have the ladies' match play tennis at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. At 9:30 is also the time the Paddlers Club will meet at the Kayak Storage Facility. Also at 9:30, we have Samba. This is the card game. They'll be in the Sable Room of the Woodlands. We'll move to 9:45, where Introduction to Beginning Line Dancing will be at the Health Club. 10 o'clock, it's time the Susie Q is going to head to Woody's for lunch. You do need to sign up for that. And our last morning activity is 10:15 with Basic Line Dancing in the Health Club. Here's Leslie for your afternoon activities.
Well, Bev, we're going to start at 12:45 with Mahjong in the Library Lounge. 1:15, Shuffleboard with the Shuffleboard Courts on the island. Also at 1:15, we have Spot Play Readers in the Osprey Room. We have a Health Connections class at 2:45, Balance and Mobility Training Level 2 in the Health Club. That class is currently full. At 4 o'clock, we have the Seamstress for their weekly service in the Osprey Room on the island. 4:30, Alcoholics Anonymous meeting in the Sable Room at the Woodlands. 6:15 is the Community Concert Series, the Barbara Breeman Theater. 6:15, court pickups will start on the island. 6:25 at the Woodlands. 6:35 at Eagles Preserve. 6:30, we have Pinnacle in the Library Lounge on the island. And we're going to end the day today at 7 o'clock with the Trailblazers Bible Study in the game room at the Woodlands. Thank you for joining us today, and we both hope you have a great and healthy day.
Hello, I'm Teri Kollath with your Academy information for Thursday. At 9:15, the power of right-clicking will take place in the Computer Teaching Center on the island, and sign-up is required. At 10 o'clock, Shakespeare Tragedies will take place in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands. Sign-up is required. At 1 o'clock, our story writing class continues in the Buttonwood Room of the Woodlands. And at 1:15, we have a Facebook class in the Computer Teaching Center on the island, and sign-up is required. At 2 o'clock, Coffee with the Neighbor, Patagonia. A ticket is required. Please pick one up at either service desk. At 2:30, Apple iPad, What's in the Air, will take place in the Oak Room of the Woodlands, and sign-up is required. I'd like to tell you about a new class coming tomorrow, Adobe Photoshop Elements, with Harold Sear of Parkwood, and also Talking is the New Typing with Bruce Findlay of Sundial. Doug Heatherly of Harbor Court will present Solar Astronomy.
Menus for Thursday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is a baked pork chop with mashed sweet potato and scalloped apples. The dinner special is the Crystal Carving Board for $11.95, and the soup of the day is black bean. In the Island Cafe for lunch, enjoy a patty melt with chips for $7.25. The dinner special is Thai night for $8.25. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill are New York Strip for $19.95 or soft shell crab for $15.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
It's a privilege to welcome you today to Village Church Connections, and I am delighted to be here with a very special guest, Teri Kollath, who manages our Academy for Lifelong Learning here at Shell Point. And Teri, you are here because we are introducing something that is coming up later this spring that we are so very excited about. There have been a number of us from the community working on this project. Tell us a little bit about who's been working on it and why it's so important to us.
Oh, Glenda, I'm delighted to be here to talk with you about something we both are looking forward to. Women Who Dare to Believe is a follow-up to the Season of Praise concert last year. And so many of us were just mesmerized by these two women and kept thinking, oh, we wish we had more of them. We wish we had more of them. Then Women's Ministry apparently went to Dr. Sue Stranahan and said, how can we bring them back? And you all looked and found that they do conferences. And then we started thinking, let's do a conference. And because the Academy of Lifelong Learning looks at the spiritual dimension of wellness with LifeQuest, we thought, well, the Academy could help to sponsor this. How wonderful that would be. So you, as the administration of the church, helped pull it all together. And we've been planning it ever since.
We've been meeting fairly regularly at this point, and as we all gather around the table and talk and we plan and look forward to this, the excitement is building, and we want to communicate that excitement to our residents here at Shell Point. Most of them received this flyer in the mail sometime in the last week that is giving more information about this Dare to Believe conference. Give us the dates for starters.
Sure. Dare to Believe, we're doing two things. It is a women's concert, but with our wisdom, we've decided to invite men to the first night because men and women will both enjoy the concert. And that takes place on Friday, April 4th at 7 p.m. in the church auditorium. Then the next day is a conference for ladies only. And we're so excited. We're going to have a workshop first thing in the morning, starting at 9 o'clock. We're going to have a break and then a 10:30 a.m. workshop, a catered lunch, and then a 1:30 workshop. So it's a full day of celebration of Women Who Dare to Believe.
It is. You mentioned the Friday night concert, and that will be a 90-minute presentation that is open to men, and we encourage men to join us for that. It's also a dessert buffet.
Yeah, that's another good
So
point.
it's going to be a little different than our normal concerts. It will be a very special evening. And then Saturday is an opportunity to grab your women friends and bring them with you for a day that should be challenging and refreshing and just feed our souls a little bit. And we have tried to keep the cost down to a bare minimum for this. We just want to cover our expenses because we want people to come.
And we have a large space, and we're encouraging, with this flyer, we're encouraging everybody in our community to reach out to the other faith communities they may belong to. They can contact you, the church, they can contact me. We'd be happy to provide flyers because we've got something great here. We want to share it with women all over our area.
Absolutely. And this is the first time that we've tried something quite like this. And we would love to get the word out and invite others to join us. There are 3 different options when it comes to registration. The first option is for Friday night only, and this will particularly pertain to the men.
Sure.
But if they want to come to Friday night and participate in the concert and the dessert buffet, the registration cost for that is $15. The registration for Saturday only, for women that may not be able to attend Friday night, and we certainly hope they can. Sure. But if they can only attend Saturday, the registration for all 3 sessions, the break, the catered lunch, is $35.
Fabulous.
But we do have a special package deal for ladies that want to do the whole weekend, the Friday night and the Saturday. They can save a little bit of money. The cost is $45.
Well, Glenda, I know you join me in saying that the whole package is an experience not to be missed. Mm-hmm. It was just electric. In fact, I have seen them before, and I cannot wait to see them again. And I've heard other people say the same thing. Mm-hmm. So to see the performance the evening before and then actually go through the workshop with these 2 amazing women the next day is a real privilege.
It is, and we will enjoy the fellowship of just women gathered together with a common bond, and I know we're excited about that. So get the word out and invite others to join you. Get your registrations in. You can do that through the Village Church. You can charge it to your ShellPoint account, or you can write a check. You can register online as well. We'd love to have you participate in this opportunity. Women Who Dare to Believe, April 4 and 5. Teri, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Glenda, and thank you for everything you've been doing to make this happen for all of us.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in tomorrow as interior design expert Joanna Koch discusses her 2 upcoming classes on using color to refresh your living space. Until then, this is ShellPoint Today for Thursday, February 6th. I'm Adam Brown, and from all of us here at ShellPoint TV, we hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.